Well, Jay, just yesterday was a good practice, and I know today's kind of a
Cheer up, Gene.
Yeah. I just been asking you the same stuff.
On the table.
Yeah.
Excited about our opportunity to get them.
Yeah, and how cheery are you then?
I'm excited about our opportunity today. I think we had a good practice yesterday and have a opportunity to play a divisional opponent. As we talked about yesterday, we're 7 points out of a playoff position. It's weird to talk about that in November. But it's not a position that we haven't been in before. Obviously, when Dave and I first came up, 7 points out, and we have experience of clawing our way back, but it starts with one game, and that's tonight.
You said it's weird to talk about that in November, so how much do you actually talk about it?
Well, I think, and I mentioned this yesterday, I think you want to highlight that because as much as doom and gloom comes from outside sources, you have to have a big picture perspective. And as I said, I've said this before, 5 playoff rounds, over 100 wins in the last 2 years, been in this position before. And, it's important to keep that in perspective, but you want to see some results too. It's no fun not getting a result. We've done some good things, but it's a results business, and that's what we're looking for. And we're not just hanging our hat on the fact that we've done it before. We got to go out and make it happen.
Actually, I'm gloom. He's doom.
Are you? Yeah. I don't know. I don't read your stuff, Spec.
Yesterday, Connor said that as captain, he kind of takes the temperature of the room just to see how guys are doing. Are you able to kind of do that, or how does a coach sort of do the temperature of the room just to see how guys are doing and how they're feeling going through this?
Yeah, I think that's important. But it's, as I've said this about how your recipe really doesn't change in terms of communication with your players. Win or lose, you're still talking to your players all the time. I like where you're coming from with that question, though, because you're talking about being empathetic to human beings going through something, and certainly that's an important quality to have as a coach. We understand that, but we're working towards making sure people are in the right frame of mind, making sure that we're giving our players something that can draw their attention to ways that they can find that result. As I said, there's been some positives. We're trying to pound on positives while at the same time taking care of some of the things that are shooting us in the foot.
What do you want to see from your team the first 10 minutes tonight?
Well, I think we've started a lot of games actually really well. I would like us to make sure that we're turned on immediately, that we're not having to let anyone else or any event turn us on. We want to make sure that we're prepared to dictate the game, and that's no different than any game. We talk a lot about our starts, and as I said, we've had some good ones, but we don't want just that to be a 10-minute plan. It's about a 60-minute plan tonight.
Jay, apologies for the long-winded question here, but you and your players have talked about shortening and making the picture a lot smaller, focusing on the next shift, the next period, the next game.
Yep.
How much would a win to close out this road trip help you guys in the process of parking what's transpired this season?
Well, I think it's important because when you're talking about doing some good things and you want to reaffirm good things in your game, it's important that you get a result. And when you do, what happens is it becomes a loop, a virtuous loop, where you're working on things, you make sure you go out and execute those things, and then you're rewarded for those things. For various reasons, we haven't been rewarded yet this year. Nobody has lost their spirit about it. We're continuing to maintain a positive outlook, but as I said, it's important to get the result because that's what reaffirms that belief system.
How different is it going to be seeing Kyler Yamamoto on the opposite bench?
You know what? We saw him in the preseason, so it won't be as different as it was that time. So we had some experience with that. But, obviously Yamo was a real good hockey player for our organization here for the last, I think 6 or 7 years or so since he was drafted. And, I coached him all the way from Bakersfield and had some experience coaching him here in the NHL. And obviously you know, he's back in his home state and he's playing on their first line tonight, and you know, so things are going well for him. But I wish him well, just not tonight.
In your time coaching him, what do you think was an underrated aspect of his game?
Yeah, he's a relentless player. You don't play in the NHL at his size and his weight without having a level of relentlessness to him. But I think the underrated thing about him, in what I noticed in my years coaching him, was his hockey intelligence. He had the ability to play with top players. And when he was at his best, he was working at a high rate. And as I said, he was a good player for our organization. Wish him well, just not tonight.